Supernatural's one show that uses its creative freedom to the max. Like, you never know when a character's suddenly going to come back to life, or when the fourth wall is going to break, or when an angel's going to interrogate animals. The amount of times Dean dies is countless. Well, the list goes on, really. We're sure you get the idea. In this video, we'll discuss all the crazy moments from Supernatural. First up, at number 11, we have A Perfect Life. How could this not be on the list? When we saw it for the first time, we were blown away. Like, our jaws were on the floor elevator of blown away. You get it? So, in episode 10, What Is and What Should Never Be of season 2, Sam informs Dean that a genie's actually behind the disappearance of people in the area. Dean then decides to go after this mischievous genie and finds himself in an abandoned building. After searching the area, the genie reveals and immediately attacks the Winchester brother and transports him to a different life. This new life was free of monsters plaguing the world, and while Dean tries to figure out what's going on and the general rules of the place, he also gets to spend every moment with his loved ones. But get this, in reality, this new life isn't real, but a hallucination. Oh, and also Dean was dying, because let's be honest, when has the guy ever been alive for more than 5 minutes in the show? Next up, on number 10, there's Inescapable Fear. In season 4's episode 6, Yellow Fever, the Winchester brothers do a road trip all the way over to Rock Ridge, Colorado, when they hear that Frank O'Brien, a perfectly healthy man, died of a heart attack. Sounds normal, right? Except this is Supernatural, and normal isn't included in their dictionary. It turns out that Frank and the other victims are down with a ghost sickness, which is a transmittable disease that makes people scared for their lives. Well, sounds like a normal day of anxiety to us. Things take a drastic turn when Dean's infected by the virus and has got to figure out a solid enough plan for hiding his fear and paranoia. Moving on, at number 9 is The Alternate Reality. This moment from season 6's The French Mistake of Supernatural's really funny because Sam's trying his best to make sense of the situation to Dean. His line, "If there's a key, then there has to be a lock," is considered one of the funniest lines of this season because both brothers are transported to a reality where they're actors, playing themselves in the Supernatural show. Is this the next level of meta? Yes. Are they good at it? Well, the thing is, Dean's not following, because Sam's verbally puking out randomness, and then again, it's not like Sam and Dean are good actors. Like, they're acting stiff and they're super uncomfortable, which is super ironic because, you know, the actors themselves are great at the job. Following up, at number 8, we've got Castiel Made a Hooker Cry. If this aired today, Twitter would probably have a meltdown. Good thing it wasn't 2022 and Castiel decided to make a prostitute, Chastity, burst into tears. She was working at a bar that Dean took Castiel to while they were waiting for Raphael to arrive. While Raphael the Angel was no-show, Chastity approached their table and asked for their names. In normal Cass fashion, he immediately gulped down half a glass of beer when she spoke to him, and then next thing you know, Chastity took Castiel out of his seat towards another room. Oh, Dean also stopped them in order to give Castiel money to pay for her services. But it wasn't as NSFW of an outcome as you'd think, cause only seconds later, Chastity was screaming like bloody murder at Castiel, and when Dean and the Angel were safely out of the bar, through the back entrance, turns out that Cass said some words to the woman that were hard to swallow. Castiel simply looked her in the eyes and told her that she wasn't at fault for her father Gene running off, and that instead, it was because he hated his job at the post office. He meant well, but yikes, that's not something you're supposed to share with strangers, Castiel. Dean replied to Castiel and said that the whole industry ran on absent fathers. Well, at least they're supporting one thing, if not their own children, right? Or is it too soon to make that joke? Coming up at number 7 is Dean Dr. Doolittle. In season 9, episode 5, Dog Dean Afternoon, the Winchester brothers head to Enid, Oklahoma, where they discover a man in a taxidermy shop and every bone in his body's broken. It seems that a simple cast won't be of much help to him. Now, when Sam and Dean put on their detective hats to investigate and solve the case, they find out that the only eyewitness of the crime is Colonel, who is, get this, a dog. This episode's got a nice Dr. Doolittle touch to it, and here's how they introduce the element into the episode. Dean drank a potion and recited an Inuit spell, which gave him the power to understand what every animal was saying. But of course, every spell comes with a fun side effect. In Dean's case, he couldn't just understand animals, he behaved like them too. He gained their animal senses and mannerisms, which is how we got the golden scene of Dean Winchester with his head sticking out of a car window enjoying the breeze. Finally, at number 6 is Every Day's Tuesday. Sam and Dean are in the diner for Sam's 100th Tuesday in Mystery Spot, and Sam, knowing everything that'll happen, basically knows exactly what Dean's going to say, even if that includes repeating stuff that's super embarrassing, like how he's got to repeat the fact that he wears makeup, cries his way through the Devil's Tango, and well, the list goes on. But hey, the best thing about Sam is he'll do whatever it takes to keep his brother alive. And man, Dean dies like after every few seconds in this episode. Aha, classic supernatural humor. It's got the right amount of honesty and great script timing. That'll either cause you to blush with embarrassment or fall down on the floor because of laughter, and no, there's literally no in between. We've tried and tested it. We're down to the last 5. First at number 5 is Dog Blood. When Castiel's trying to open Purgatory, Crowley pulls a classic Brutus on him and sides with the enemy. In this case, Raphael. Banded together, they demand Castiel to give them the Purgatory blood so that they can successfully complete their spell. And don't worry, Castiel knows better than to trust him. In fact, he tricks them in return and gives them a jar of blood. Alright, but it's not Purgatory blood, it's dog blood. Crowley even tastes the blood in his own jar to double check, and to his surprise, he's been fooled, and that too quite well, might we add. But then again, the question we want an answer to is, it's always dog blood. Why can't they just kill a chicken every once in a while? Next up at number 4 is Imaginary Friends Are Real. In Just My Imagination, Season 11, Episode 8, a creature's murdered in Menomonee, Wisconsin, and guess who comes to the rescue of Sam and Dean? It's Sam's imaginary friend, Sully, who's played by actor Nate Torrance. Now, the reason for the imaginary friend plotline is simple. It's because the dead creature itself is a figment of imagination. Is it cool? Yes. Does it make the Winchester brothers' job extremely difficult? Also yes. Last time we checked, helping imaginary creatures was outside of Sam and Dean's area of expertise, especially since only Sam, Dean, and little kids could see the crime scenes. Moving on, at number 3, we've got the zombie virus. In The End, which is episode 4 of season 5, Sam wanted to live a normal life, but that's not really possible, cause this is supernatural after all. Oh, and his plan was ruined when he found out he was Lucifer's vessel. That obviously disrupts your goal of leading a normal life. And to make matters worse, Dean found out he's Michael's vessel, so they split up. And next thing we know, we see Jensen Ackles wake up in the middle of a Croatian pandemic. In 2014, when this episode was aired, 2014 was a distant future and show-wise consisted of virus-infected people who got turned into zombies. That doesn't sound fun, especially since in this post-apocalyptic world, the uninfected members have a bad habit of killing anyone and everyone who shows any hint of contamination from the virus, no matter how far along their prognosis is. Wow, they really took the precautionary SOPs seriously. What's more, at number 2 is Dean's fighting fairies. Season 6, episode 19 gave us this gem of a moment. What moment exactly? Dean in a field screaming about fairies and UFOs, of course. It's like the peak of cinema. Nothing can top it. If you're confused, then don't worry, we've got you covered. In this episode, the brothers are investigating a bunch of abductions that they think are happening at the hands of aliens, cause why not? Dean does try to warn Sam, which is how we got the scene of him shouting about UFOs and close encounters. But Sam thinks he's discussing bases, joking that the 4th base has stuff. After Dean disappears all of a sudden and then reappears, he realizes that the real masterminds behind the crime are actually fairies. And get this, only someone who's taken to the fairy realm can see the creatures. Last but not least, at number 1 is Cass is interrogating a cat? We've got so many questions. Turns out Castiel has gone on an interrogative spree just like Dean and Sam, and his main suspect is, get this, a cat. The trio was actually looking for the person responsible for the cartoon-like deaths that happened while a robbery was taking place. People also reported strange cartoon-like behavior happening in a 50-yard radius around each robbery when it occurred. Well, that's mighty convenient, and that's also where Cass runs into his main suspect, Bob the cat, who obviously talks. That's a wrap for this video. What did you think of these insane moments from Supernatural? Let us know in the comments below. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.